Okay, this week I will finish MTV January on Cartoon Review with Undergrads. But there is one character from that show that I just love so much that just mentioning him on a review of the show would not make him any justice. And that character is Justin Gimpy Taylor. Gimpy was one of 4 guys that had been together since kindergarten, but now attend different colleges while still try to keep in touch. Gimpy is the geek of the group. He is a real computer genius and attends Texan Tech Institute. He is also a shut-in that hates to leave his room and mostly communicates with the others through the computer. But that's okay, because he has an army of students that worship him as their master. He calls them his minions, and he sends them out on missions to do his bidding. As for personality, Gimpy could be rather selfish and egotistical, but really all the characters in the show could be that from time to time, because, well, they were all still young and learning. Plus, if any character should have a little bit of an ego, it should be the guy that can manipulate his environment without standing up. Anyone that's watched the show knows what a huge Star Wars fan Gimpy was. Seriously, he bought every single Boba Fett figure on eBay. He owns the soundtrack for the Star Wars Holiday Special on CD-ROM, and he even rebuilt his share so it would look like the Death Star. So, of course, he makes a lot of references to Star Wars, but he also made a lot of references to Spider-Man, Wall Street, Transformers, and Star Trek, even if he has said that he hates Star Trek. There were even one episode when he started a war between the Star Wars fans and the Star Trek fans. He refers to things he don't like as the enemy, like say, girls are the enemy, milk is the enemy, tradition is the enemy, or alcohol is the enemy. It's one of his many quirks. Just like the other guys in the show, Gimpy could be a jerk sometimes. But really he did care about people, he just prioritized a little bit wrong sometimes. And he actually seemed a bit saddened when he realized what a jerk he has been. As said, Gimpy still tries to keep contact with his old friends. His best friend is Nitz, who is the responsible one in the group. He and Nitz shares a lot of interest together, even if Gimpy do get annoyed about Nitz always trying to be with other people. He and Cal were also good friends, but I especially like the scenes when he and Rocco were together. Rocco was this kind of violent ingrate, but he and this nerd Gimpy, they got together really well. There was this one episode where all the guys tried to make money in different ways. Nitz became a cleaner, Cal basically whored himself out, and Gimpy became a seller over the internet. But the only thing Rocco could do was masturbate, so he decided to turn in some of his to the sperm bank, but they didn't accept donation from frats, so Rocco went to Gimpy and asked, "Hey Gimpy, is it okay if I jerk off in here?" And Gimpy was like, "Rocco, what do I say every time you ask me that?" And then they came up with this brilliant idea to have Gimpy's customers donate semen if they couldn't pay him. The closest friend Gimpy got since attending college was this short, fat geek named Mump that was also second in command over his minions. I sort of see Mump and Gimpy as teen versions of Mr. Burns and Mr. Smithers, since Mump always tried to win Gimpy's favor, but with a few exceptions, Gimpy never seemed to appreciate him. Was Mump gay for Gimpy? I don't know, I mean it's completely possible. In the episode Roommates, Gimpy actually got a girlfriend named She-Prime, which is fitting since Gimpy's codename was G-Prime, obviously a tribute to Optimus Prime. They started out as enemies, but fall in love out of their common love for technology and use of computer-related insults. They obviously never met. They just talked over a computer, and they even started a website together. But it all went downhill when Gimpy felt that his masculinity was being threatened. When She Prime updated their antivirus program on their website without telling him, and he of course acted like a jerk because of this, and she sent him a virus, and they went back to be enemies. But sadly we didn't see her more after this episode, which was a shame, really. But the best part of this is that in the end of the episode, the fire alarm at Gimpy's school goes off, and he walks out of his room, and we see that She Prime lived in the room next door. All this time they were like 6 feet away from each other. But since they never sent each other any actual pictures of themselves, they didn't recognize one another. Although, since she did restore some of his videos, I do think she would have known how Gimpy looked like, but whatever. It was actually really funny. Okay, so what more? I really like the character design of this guy. He kind of looked like a lizard with those eyes that pointed at different directions, and he had those almost like chimpanzee-like arms. Oh, this was this one time he made a video game simulator that was over 60,000 gigabyte, and he sent it all to Nitz, and Nitz was like, wow, everything seems fine here, because he thought his computer would crash out of the download. So he asked Gimpy, how are things at your end? And Gimpy was like, cool. And then a big part of Gimpy's school exploded out of his computer overheating. Another time, he and his minions tried to hack into Ben & Jerry's mainframe to change Captain Crunch name into Chocolate Chip Chewbacca. He's that freaking weird, guys. Now, is Gimpy just another geek stereotype? Well, kind of. I mean, he can be incredibly self-absorbed, and he is obviously socially awkward, but at the same time, I think he is really cool. He is smart, he has a nice sense of humor, and he can control his surroundings to his liking. His friends love him, his classmates worship him, and the school's faculty could never get a grip on him. He was the school nerd I wanted to be when I went to college. And the fact that he had such an odd lifestyle but still managed to make it work just made him so much more admirable. And that was what I liked about him. Justin Gimpy Taylor. He found a clique to call his own.